representing the hypothesized market. The first wish is the most basic function that a user will need to get some of the hypothesized value. And you build a walking skeleton to support this first wish. Next is your first pilot user. You choose a user that is satisfied with only this basic function. And now we begin to fail. You deploy your first concept and then you're far from done first iteration product at the pilot site. And at that point, you will uncover a bunch of unknown unknowns quickly. You will fail fast. Or you can instead build something that someone defined as the MVP and wait for the big launch. And then you would wait for some more months for angry support calls or upset salespeople because the product has also to reach the market and the users. That would lead you to fail slowly instead. Of course, we rather fail fast. So after the first deploy, it's just a matter of iterating in the famous BDML loop, failing a little less with each iteration. You will learn fast. Which gets us to the point. The real choice is not between fail fast or succeed fast. It's between fail fast or fail slowly. So fail fast has an opportunity to lead to reasonably fast success. Fail slowly may sometimes lead to slow success, but often just stay as a slow failure. It's never wrong to fail fast, and it's always wrong to fail slowly. And then for some extra credit, preparing for and being open to failure may yield a healthier work environment where it's okay to do mistakes, or rather to learn. It also often costs less money to fail fast than to fail slowly. You do as little as possible to learn as much as possible. And if it's cheap to build, it is cheap to throw away if it wasn't the right solution. Now go out there and fail fast and learn quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, Fredrik. Thanks a lot. And I would love to hear if we have any question from the audience. And if you want to ask a question, you either just unmute or in the room, you just speak up. Any questions to Fredrik?
Yes, I have a question. Okay, my name is Fredrik Hugosson, and I work at Saab as a head of function and what's that? Sorry, I'm head of a group anyway. I have a question. If the first users, if they are in-house or if it's real customers, what do you think about the first ones?
Good question. So for the first users, for the first version of the product, I mean, in some way you're always internal because you have to develop it first and make sure that it works in this small first wish scenario. But as soon as you think it actually works there, and actually a little bit before you think it works perfectly, you should go out to real users. But of course, you need to be really open with these users that they are the first pilot user.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Anyone else?
Yes, I have a question. I wonder, how did you test the cameras on the bodies?
Yeah, good question. So we actually recruited a group of security guards in Malmö that were using our products in 1.5 years before we released it to the market. So they started out with the first alpha hardware. a lot of stuff didn't work in that one, but recording video did work. So that's where we concentrated on getting the first hardware should be able to record video in like the simplest scenario possible. And they started using it. And then they got the second alpha hardware, and then the beta hardware, and the pre-production hardware, and then they got the real production units. And all the time we updated the software at their site. And I can tell you, we failed a lot. But the thing is, security guards were happy with the product all the time because it was much better than having no product at all.
So may I ask how you know that you have failed? So when you can say that the product has been failed, that you are not going to continue with that at all?
For some parts, we had data, not online, but we went there and got the logs every week. After a while, we got the logs online, so we could actually download it from the office. And if it failed too much, they called us. And since it was close, we just sent someone on a bike going there.
It sounds so easy, Fredrik.
Yeah, it does.
But that's access, right?
It was embarrassing at some points, I can tell you.
I have a question here, Pontus Vetrella. I work at A3X here. How do you make sure you capture aspects of maybe not early adopters or more risk-taking users? Because normally the first ones are more early adopters, prone to risk or more acceptable.
Yes, good point. So we tried to get them to use new things that we developed that they weren't using before. Sometimes they would use it and try it and give us feedback on it. And sometimes they would really find out that, whoa, we really want to use this in the normal workflow. But of course, there were stuff that they would never use. And then you have to go back to the try it ourselves, and then you find some other customer that wants this and you try it out on them. So after a while, we really got into this, that we didn't develop any new major features without having a pilot user to give us feedback on it.
Okay.
And that helped us really good with the prioritization, because if we couldn't find any pilot users, then there probably wasn't a market for it.
Yeah.
Fredrik, one of the things that very often come up when working with the software center companies is the difficulty in identifying or deciding what would be an MVP.
Yes.
To really try to slice something into the smallest possible slice. How do you think about this, and what are your experiences?
So we had a lot of discussions around this, what was the MVP, and the product manager that is still working with us and doing the prioritizations. From the beginning, he thought the MVP was the first product we could sell to the market that a lot of the market would be satisfied with. But the MVP we actually launched in this pilot program was like 1/10 of that first version of the MVP. So you can really take away a lot of features when you really want to do it. But of course, you only test the features or only get feedback on the features that you have implemented.
Yeah.
So it's about the communication between architecture, R&D, and product management. What do we have to build? What can we build in a certain time span? But nowadays, this is just working because we get to know the flow from both sides.
A final question? Is there anyone?
See, I'm thinking, sorry, Ito Richardson here, Professor of Software Quality at the University of Limerick in Ireland. so I happen to be visiting. So thank you to Helena for asking me along here. If the product is, you have to be careful about the product that you release or what's within it, because you could have safety critical type things, for example. I'm thinking about a braking system on a car.
Yeah.
You have to be, you certainly have to have done a lot of work to try and make sure that the product that's out in the field does have those safety features built in. So
Yes.
there must be some process behind that sort of thinking.
Yes, this product didn't have that kind, but we had certain security features and privacy features that were non-negotiable, like for GDPR, for example. So
Right.
it was really important that you couldn't get video out from the camera as a person. It could only be transferred to a specific computer. And that we set up a bunch of automated tests to make sure we were handling that correctly before we went out to the market with it, or went out to the pilot. So that kind of comes hand in hand with this early pilot, that you also set up your own automated tests.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Fredrik, joining us from Lund, if I am not mistaken.
Yes.
So thanks a lot.